Hello everyone, how you doing? It's Callum from Cameron Bike Training again. Just thought we'd do another little video today. Wanted to talk a little bit about CBT and give people that don't know what it is a little bit more of an in-depth guide into what you'll be doing when you do your CBT. So, first of all, what does CBT stand for? CBT stands for Compulsory Basic Training. It also stands for Cameron Bike Training, which was a nice happy accident. We didn't mean that at all, promise. But yeah, so compulsory basic training, it pretty much describes what CBT is. CBT is compulsory. If you're wanting to do anything on two wheels, you need to do CBT. It's basic, so you're going to get fed some basic information on how to ride a bike safely without killing yourself. And it's training. It's not a test, it's a training course. It's a safety course at the end of the day. So yeah, that's really it. Now, what's involved in CBT? So there is 5 different elements to CBT. You have to complete every element in order, and you need to reach a satisfactory standard in each element before you can move on to the next one. Now, those elements aren't hard, and to be honest with you, they're in a logical order. If I was to just teach someone how to ride a bike, I'd be doing them in the same order that they're in on CBT, so that is not an issue. So, we'll go through the elements in order, and we'll talk a little bit about each of them. So, the first one, element A, is an introduction to the course. So, this is where we get all the legal prerequisites out of the way. So, there's a couple of things that we need to check from you when you come along to do your CBT. So, first thing is, we need to check your license. So, you don't have to be a car license holder to do CBT. You could have a provisional license, which is absolutely fine, but we still need to have a look at that. Now, you need to be able to generate a check code for your license, which can be done by going onto Google and typing in DVLA license details, that sort of idea there. The other thing that you can do is you can bring your national insurance number in with you, and then we can do that for you. Okay, so you need to bring those things with you. Once you've had your license checked, the next thing that you would do would be to do an eyesight test. So obviously we need to be able to make sure that you can see, so we would ask you to read a car registration plate from just over 20 metres away. So that's the idea, that's the first part. Element A then, after you've done that, also gives you a little bit of an introduction to the course, so it tells you which each element is, so pretty much what I'm talking about now. And also goes over a little bit of safety gear, safety clothing. So the idea is that your instructor will go over with you and tell you about the different clothing that you're wearing, for example, a pair of gloves, and they'll tell you why we wear them, what to look for when you're buying them, what protection you want from them, and sort of a rough guide on how to fit things so that they fit you properly and they're going to protect you in the best way possible. Now, once you have done that, you'll then move on to element B. Now, element B is more about the actual bike itself rather than about us as a rider. So element B goes into more about the controls of the bike, where they all are, what they all do, and how they all work. Then from there, you'll go on to looking at a bit of general maintenance. So how do I make sure that my bike is safe to ride? Is there anything that I need to be able to check? You know, for example, how do I show that my chain's safe to be using it in the road? Is there anything I need to do with the adjustment of the chain? Is there anything I need to watch for? Is there anything that will tell me if my chain's not suitable for use or not? So that's the sort of idea there, as we go over that sort of general maintenance aspect there. After you've gone over that general maintenance aspect, you'll then go over a couple of little manual handling things. Now, generally this is done down in an off-road training site, and we would loosely put this under element C. So element C is basic off-road training. So the idea of element C is that you're getting taught how to handle a bike. So that'll start off from manual handling, which will be stuff like putting a bike on and off its stand. That'll get built up to pushing a bike. That'll get built up to slinging your leg over and getting on a bike properly. That'll get built up to starting a bike up. That'll get built up to pulling away. And from there you'll just keep on building and building and building up to what you're doing, until by the end of that element you're able to carry out a couple of basic road manoeuvres, such as left-hand turns, right-hand turns at junctions, U-turns, emergency stops, as well as some control aspects as well. So control aspects would be stuff like figure of eights, that sort of idea there. So the idea is when you've done that third element, you should be able to ride a bike well enough that you'd be quite confident out on the road. Control-wise anyway. Obviously, getting into the actual theory of the road is a different story, which is what the fourth element's for, element D. So element D is another classroom bit, so you'll be back in a classroom and you'll be discussing with your instructor. There we go, and quick minute check here, get the bike down to 20. You'll be discussing with your instructor what to do when you're out on the road. So how do I deal with cars? Is there anything else that I need to worry about when I'm going along? How the different surfaces react to the bike. Do I need to be more wary when I'm on concrete versus tarmac versus cobblestones? So that idea there, that'll go over that sort of stuff. So it's a good old in-depth discussion about how you handle a bike and what you should be thinking about when you're out on the road. Student there. You'll not recognise me because I'm on my new bike. Right, so yeah, you'll go over all of that sort of stuff on element D. And then finally you'll go on to element E. So element E, the final part of the CBT itself, is a road ride. So the idea is you would do something similar to what I'm doing now. You'd be out riding on the road with live traffic. You'd be in radio communication with an instructor, and that instructor will give you guidance and give you tips as you're going. Now element E is generally a 2-hour road ride. Certainly minimum amount of time is 2 hours. You could be out for a bit longer depending on how you're getting on, or if there's anything that your instructor feels like you need to work on. And that'll cover loads of different things, such as junctions, roundabouts, pedestrian crossings, traffic lights, obstructions on the road such as parked cars, that sort of idea. So the idea is you're getting a sort of little 2-hour window of what a varied ride would be, and your instructor would be looking at you and seeing if there's anything that we need to address, or if there's anything that you need a little bit of help or a little bit of to be improved on. Now the idea of element E really, and the best way to think about it, is it's almost a culmination of everything else that you've done throughout the day. So you're putting everything that you've been taught together into one ride, and you're making sure that you're doing everything nice and safely. And generally, that's how us as instructors judge that. We'll sit there and look at you, and we'll take you out on the road, and we'll keep teaching you and keep teaching you and keep teaching you until you get to a point where we can turn around and say, if you were my brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever it is, would we be happy with you riding a bike out on the road? If the answer is yes, then you get a nice shiny CBT certificate. If the answer is no, then we take you out and we teach you more on the bits that we're not very happy with. And that's generally the idea. And I think that's one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make when they think about CBT, is they think that the instructor's there to assess them. When we're not. We're not there to assess you. We're there to help you. And we're there to help improve you and help you make your first step onto the ladder, which is becoming a motorcyclist and not going over roundabouts like that. Well done, Mr. Volvo. I wonder if I'm going to have to scrub out his Reggie plate now. Anyway, that's the idea behind that, is you're going to be going out with an instructor, you're going to be getting help, and you're going to be getting taught all of the basic fundamentals behind riding a bike. Now, other questions that I get commonly asked with CBT. How long does it take? Well, CBT generally takes a day. Sometimes it can take a bit longer. It really depends on you as an individual when you're getting your CBT and when you're getting taught. The reason I'm saying that is you might get someone who comes along who's done some motocross riding, knows how to ride a bike, but has never been on the road before. If that's the case, then that person's probably not going to take quite as long to learn the control stuff in the bike. However, they might take a little bit longer to learn the road stuff. You might get someone who's been a car driver for 20 years but has never touched a bike in their life. In that case, it might take them a little bit longer to go over the control aspect, but the actual roadcraft side and, you know, obviously how to do roundabouts and junctions, etc, etc, they've got 20 years experience dealing with that. And again, just a little point there, I think that's a lot of things that car drivers especially kind of take for granted, is remember you already have road experience. So the actual road bit, when you're a car driver, should be the least scary bit, because at the end of the day, you know what to do at a set of traffic lights, you know what to do when a red Jaguar tries to cut up in front of you. I'm starting to feel sorry for you now, Mr. Volvo. And yeah, that's the idea behind that, is depending on what previous experience you've got, depends on how long the CBT is going to take. If you're coming along as a 17-year-old who's going on a geared bike for the first time, never ridden anything motorised before, and has never been on the road before, then you'd maybe expect that to take more than one day. It really, really depends on you. On the other hand, we've had some people that have been complete naturals and got through it in one day. We've had other people that haven't. The CBT goes at your pace. It doesn't go any faster or slower than that. It's always at your pace, and that's one of the biggest things about it. Okay. Now, how many students will there be on my CBT course? Well, it depends on the school. Okay, there is a legal maximum. So the legal maximum is 4 students per 1 instructor when you're off-road, and 2 students per 1 instructor when you are on-road. Now, different schools work this in different ways. We generally don't like doing any more than 3 at a time. However, if we're very busy in the middle of the summer and we've got no option apart from fitting 4 people in at once, then we will do it, although we don't particularly enjoy doing it. It makes our life more stressful as well if we're having to split our attention over 2, 3 or 4 people. On the other hand, you can get a situation, which I've seen happen before, where, say I've got 2 students coming in, one of them's already done a CBT and it's just renewing it, and you get another person who's a complete novice. So you've got 2 different total ends of the spectrum with the sort of people that would be doing CBT. Now, if that happens, there's a couple of things that you can do. That one person who is doing their CBT and they're renewing it, they can go through the exercises quite quickly because they've already done them before. And I have actually seen me do that with one person and then ask them to take an extended lunch break whilst I work one-on-one with a novice. Again, it completely depends on the situation, and it depends on the day really, and the students that are there. Now, other things to think about here is, what can I do to help prepare me for CBT? There's a couple of things. If you're a driver, there's not too much. Read up your highway code. Make sure you're happy with all of the current laws. Remember, the highway code changes every year, so laws might have changed slightly since you last did your car test. So, have a little read up on that. For non-drivers, definitely read your highway code. You need to have a basic understanding of the roads before you come along to CBT. For example, now this isn't a legal requirement, but it is something that we do as a business, is if we have someone who is a non-driver, we'll ask them a series of road signs just to see what the knowledge is like. If they can't answer those road signs, we would ask them to go home and read the highway code and come back before they go on to the road element. My reasoning for that is, I honestly think it's dangerous taking someone out who doesn't know what road signs are, and certainly doesn't know the meaning behind them. For example, if you could imagine someone coming along and not knowing what a no entry sign is and going up it, that's your good example of that there. So yeah, got to be very, very careful with that. Other things you can do, you can go to YouTube, you can watch some how-to videos. Just remember with YouTube, which is quite ironic since I'm posting this up here, YouTube isn't regulated, so you could have some people giving you the wrong advice. I wouldn't say that happens very often, but if you are going onto YouTube and you are looking at some of these how-to videos, try and have a look at some that have been posted by professional instructors like myself. There's another couple of great channels out there as well that are run by different schools, which you can have a look at as well. So that would be my next bit of advice there. Now, other things that you could think about to make your life a bit easier. If motorcycling is something that you're definitely going to be doing and you're keen on doing it, Mr. Fia, are you going to be coming into this right hand lane, or are you going to stay in that left lane? Are you going to stay in the left lane? Excellent, well done. Right, so yeah, the other thing you can do, just to help make yourself more comfortable, if you're 100% sure that you're going to be doing motorcycling, then you could start buying your own gear. Certainly, different schools will have different levels of gear that you can borrow, but you're always going to be more comfortable in your own gear. Again, if you're buying your own gear, buy it from a proper motorcycle shop, and make sure you say to an assistant that you've got no idea what you're doing. or bring someone along with you who does have an idea, because as I said before, fitting your gear and getting the proper fitment is important, especially for helmets, in all honesty. But yeah, that's a very, very important part as well. Other things that you can do in the day, don't stress about it. As I said, it's a course. At the end of the day, it's something that you've chosen to do. It should be fun. The amount of people that I see coming to do CBTs and they think it's going to be a really starchy and boring day. It's not. It's fun. It is a really, really fun day. There's a reason that I do this for a job, and I can tell you something, it's certainly not for the money. I do this job because I enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy it more if my students enjoy it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be enjoying CBT, and I'd like to think that my students do too. It's supposed to be a fun and interesting day. At the end of the day, 90% of people that do motorcycle lessons and get onto bikes, it's for fun. You know, it's a pastime. You know, it's a great pastime. But that's the idea. So relax, have fun. You know, get on with the instructor. Hopefully, unless he's a knob. But you know, try and get on with the instructor. Have a good chat with them. You know, and relax. As I said, the instructors are there to help you. You know, you are paying them at the end of the day, but they are there to help you. You know, and that's a very, very important thing with the day as well. So that is generally it for CBT. Now, if you've got any more questions, because obviously I can't cover everything in one video, and as well, I'm talking off the top of my head here. Again, not wanting to prattle too long at the end of the videos, but once we get a little bit more in practice with making these videos, we'll start to have sort of a bit more structure and everything to them. If there's anything that I missed, then as I said, comment down below, ask me questions. At the end of the day, that's what I'm here for, and that's what I've made this channel for as well, is so that I can educate people at the end of the day. These vlogs are great for us practicing, being on camera, and for helping practicing us doing editing especially. Oh my god, editing takes ages, and it is not a fun process. But at the end of the day, we are going to be wanting to do a lot more tutorial videos and stuff like that, and as I said, this for us is another means of educating people and getting out there and sharing, hopefully, the right information for people to look at and help them to improve their motorcycling. But thanks for watching, and again, thank you to everyone who's watched our previous videos. We got loads and loads of positive feedback about it, so we're well chuffed. That positive feedback is really important for us because it means we're doing a good job. Just remember, negative feedback is just as important. If there's anything that you guys think that we can improve on, then please let me know, and we'll try and sort it. You know, we're new to this, so you know, it will take us a little bit of time to get back into the swing of things. But yeah, as I said, that's really us. So thank you again for watching. If you like what we're doing, or even if you don't like what we're doing, but you think there's ways that we can improve, subscribe to our channel and give us an earful. Honestly, we'll not take it personally, and thanks very much again. I hope to see a lot of you soon, and remember folks, keep it shiny side up. I will see you soon. Bye bye.